everybody, welcome to the piano series on piano basis, and I will be the person that will be taking you through this trip. My name is David Olaim. I'm super excited to be the one taking you this class. Quickly, let me give you an insight into what we'll be doing in this series, because it's going to be a structured lesson that will be taking you from one lesson to another on what you really need to know about the instrument. If you really want to understand the instrument you're playing, you have to get familiar with it. So we'll be going through the basis for beginners. So if you're a beginner and you're interested in learning the piano, right, I want you to take this particular series. I mean, this lesson, the class, whatever you want to call it, I want you to take it seriously. And at the same time, a quick one for those that will be seeing this on YouTube. I know some other person will be seeing this on music group or piano groups on WhatsApp or whatever platform, but on YouTube, if you are watching this on YouTube, I will advise you to subscribe and at the same time to activate the notification on YouTube, so that anytime the next lesson is uploaded, YouTube will notify you. So now I want us to get right into the lesson. You know what I'm saying? Alright, now we go into the lesson proper. The first lesson for the series is titled Introduction to Piano Playing. I know you have seen the outline. Then Introduction to the Piano Playing, we're looking at those things you need to know to get started playing the piano. I don't want you to say, yeah, this is theory. No, there are things we will practically look at, and I will explain them. Then at the long run, towards the end of the lesson, we'll play some exercises that will serve as the assignment for this lesson. Okay, now the first topic we'll be looking at is the musical alphabet. Now we'll slow it down so everybody can follow. To be able to understand a particular country, you have to understand the language. To be able to appreciate the country, you have to understand the language. And the language of music starts from understanding musical alphabet. Now, what do we call musical alphabet? Musical alphabet, they are actually 7 in number. Now, they are taken from the first 7 letters of English alphabet, your A, B, C, D. Now, they are not 26, but they are just 7. So, the musical alphabet are A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So, that is what we use in music. Anything outside that is not musical. Now that you know musical alphabet, how does it relate to the keyboard? What is the relationship between alphabet and keyboard? Now let me quickly break that. You actually use the alphabet to name the keys on the keyboard. Now for example, now we'll quickly help you with identification of keys of the white key. We start with the white keys now. Now anytime you can see the keyboard is arranged in 2s and in 3s. And there is a pattern. You can see the repetition. If you look at this place, more or less like this pattern is repeated here, then it's repeated here, then another one is repeated here. So that is the first thing you notice about the keyboard. Now how does that alphabet relate to the white keys that I was talking about? Now we need these 2 black keys to identify this white key. Why? Let me explain. Now so that it will be easy for you to identify any key on the keyboard. Now anytime you see 2 black keys, the white key that is starting it is always C. What did I say? It's always letter C anywhere in the world. You see 2 black keys, the white key starting is letter C. So this is our C. I can have another C here, and I can have another C there. Now we explain the reason why the C here is different from the C here and the C below it. So that is the letter C. Now let's go to the next alphabet. Next key, or let me say alphabet, is our letter D. Now I'm going to rush the other keys on the keyboard because I want this video to be short. So once we know our C, we have, anytime you see 2 black keys, the white key in the middle of 2 black keys is always D. Can you see that this is our D? Then I have another one here. This is another one here. So the one that is outside 2 black keys like this is always E. Just as you have it in your ABC. Do you know after C is your D, after D is your E in your normal English alphabet. So when we have our D, this is our E. Now the other one now that people usually confuse themselves on is the C and the F. Now the difference between the C and F on the keyboard is C is starting 2 black keys, while F is starting 3 black keys, a set of 3 black keys. So anytime you have 3 black keys, the white key that is starting it is always F. So this is your F. Then the white key after the F is G. The white key after that G is your A. And the white key after your A is your B. Now once you get to B, it continues and you go back to your C. Now that we know the names of the white key, next question should be, how come do we have many of the same key on the keyboard? many of the same key on the, and that is what will lead us to what is called octave in music. Octave simply means eighth note. So before you can actually have the repetition of the same key or the same sound on the keyboard, you must complete what is called octave, that is 8. Now let's look at one of our keys, which is C. The same thing applies to all the keys on the keyboard. Now let's look at C. We have C here. Now if you want to get another C above or below it, you must have an octave. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now if you complete that 8th note, you will have the same sound above it. And we have C here, and this is another C. The same thing applies if you want to have the same sound below. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you have another C here. The difference between this C and the one above it, that is, now we understand octave, that is octave above it or octave below, is what is called pitch in music. And pitch has to do with how high or low a sound is. So this is what we tell you, okay, this particular sound here is lower than this one here. So as you progress on the keyboard and you play the same sound, the sound will be getting higher in pitches. That is, we have your C here will be higher, the C here will be higher than the C here. Then this one will be higher than this one. And the more you go down to the left side of the keyboard, you'll be getting bass sound. It will be getting deeper in sound. So let's look at that. We have this C here, this, and this. They are the same sound, but the difference is what we call pitch. The next topic we look at is what is called tone and semitone. I'm very sure you have been hearing about that. The reason why I'm doing all this is because I want to create a very good foundation. So by the time we go into full practical, if I talk about those things, you won't be asking me what is this in the comment section or whatsoever. So I want you to really understand this, because the next lesson is straight into practical. Even in this lesson, we'll be looking at fingering exercises, but I want you to have a good foundation. Now the next one is your tone and your semitone. Now what is a semitone in music? Now quickly, is a practical something using your keyboard. Semitone simply means when you move from a key to the next key, whether it's black or white, the shortest movement, the shortest distance between a key is a semitone. So when I move from this C to this black here, this is a semitone movement. This is a semitone movement. But if I drop this black key and move to this place, that is a tone movement. So a tone is two semitones, while a semitone is if you move to the next key, whether black or white. Now we have a natural places on the keyboard in which there is semitone. We have the E to your F. This is a semitone movement because there's no black key in between it. Then we have your B to your C. This is a semitone because there is no black key in between the keys. So when you move from your B to your C, it's a semitone. But when you move from your B to your C sharp to this black key, we have actually not talked about black key yet. So let me to this black key, it is what? A tone. Alright, now quickly we look at the two common accidentals, because we need that to name our black keys. Now the first one is your sharp. A sharp in music simply means when a sharp is placed on a key, it simply means play the key above it in a semitone, or let me say increase it by a semitone. I don't know. Now you see we have explained semitone. So if I put a sharp on a C, it simply means I should go to the next key, whether black or white. The next key, whether black or white. Now if I put a flat simply means I should reduce the key by a semitone. So I should go to the next key beside it or below it, whether black or white. So if I put a flat on this C, that means I'm supposed to play this. Now let me use another key. Now let's say we have G. If I put a sharp on this G, that means I'm supposed to play this. If I put a flat on this G, that means I'm supposed to play this. Now I know you understand the sharp and the flat. Now we identify the black keys. Now quickly let me remind you that the concept of octave and pitches also applies to them. The same thing with the white keys applies to the black keys. But the difference between the black keys, because they actually borrow their names from the white keys. So with the addition of the accidentals we just looked at. Now let me go straight to it. Now we have two white keys always after and before a black key. So you will name it. If you are coming from the one before it, that means you are moving to it like this. Now you will just add sharp to that key to name the black key. So let's say we have C, and sharp. So this black key will be C sharp, or when you come from the one after it, it will be, you take it backward, that means you flatten it, then it will be D flat. So you have C sharp or D flat. Then this one will now be, this is D, it will be D sharp or E flat. Now we go to the one after F, then it will be F sharp or G flat. Now we go to the one after your G, it will be G sharp or A flat. Now we go to the one after your A, it will be A sharp or B flat. But the fact remains that these keys, they actually have their common names. When you play with people, there are some names they are usually called, except you are going into classical or sight reading. Anything else aside, if it is contemporary playing by ear, you will hear more of C sharp for this particular key instead of the D flat. Most people, they call it C sharp. Then for this one, you will hear more of E flat. Then for this one, you hear, of course, you know this one, you hear more of F sharp. Then this one, more of A flat, and this is B flat. So those are the common names you will hear people call those black keys. Now let's start playing the keyboard. Now I'm very sure we have a good foundation already, so anything I talk about, you understand it, because I have actually laid a very good foundation for you on the instrument. Now we go to the fingering exercises. Before you can actually play the keyboard, you have to get familiar with the fingers, and what we call fingering, it has to do with the way the fingers are numbered, the fingers of each hand. Now we have our left hand, which will be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You start from the little finger. The little finger is your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we start with the right hand is starting on your thumb. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You look at it very well, it's actually the same thing, just that your thumb at the left hand is here, while at the right hand is here. So it's actually the same thing. So how do you place your hands on the keyboard? Now on the keyboard, your right hand is expected to be on your middle C for this particular exercise, and most times it's the middle C that divides the keyboard into two. So that is where your right hand will start, then the left hand will start on the second octave if you are using a 5-octave keyboard like this. If it's 7.5 or lesser than that, you look for the middle C. Middle C is the one that divides the keyboard into two. So when on the 5-octave, it's actually the 3rd octave. Now you understand the meaning of octave. Now you put your left hand here. So we are working on a fingering exercise that has to do with 5 notes, which is our C, D, E, F, and G. Now the exercise will be put on the screen, and what you are supposed to do is you are expected to play those exercises one after the other. So we have the first one, which is C, D, E, F, and G. It's just moving on your C, D, E, F, and G, then you come back to your C. So that is the exercise. So we are doing it with the 2 fingers. As simple as this exercise is, it's actually something that can get you started, right? So you have to play it. You start with the left hand. Right hand. The focus is for you to combine the two. So we have now make sure you are not doing like this to play. Make sure you have this as if there's a frog under your palm. Make sure you are using the tip, the finger tip, to actually strike your key. That's another important thing. And make sure your keyboard is positioned in a way to not strain your back. So that is another thing about positioning. But that is the first exercise. Then you should be able to play this. The assignment is to be able to come with this simple outcome. If you can play this, it's okay. Then you move to the next exercise, which is playing your C to your D, C to E, C to F, C to G. Then you come back from your G, F, G, E, G, D, G, and C. You do that for the 2 hands also. You have your para, para,